Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our episode 11 of African Real Estate Podcast. And here we tell you that it's all about exploring the dynamics in the real estate industry. We have a lot lined up for you, and we hope that you will enjoy as well as learn. Be ready, have an open mind for learning. I will be your host, Dominic Mwangi, alongside
Victor Kiplagat, your favorite co-host. You're most welcome to today's episode 11 of the African Real Estate Podcast.
Exactly. And today, Victor, we will be looking at floods mitigation. Victor, you will confirm with me that across the country, across the continent, as well as a large number of countries across the globe, there is flooding.
It's a common phenomenon, so to say.
True.
It's been raining cats and dogs, and now we can add it's also raining, apart from cats and dogs, on a lighter note, it's also raining elephants and monkeys.
Agreed. And now this has been brought about by the changes in the climatic conditions, and there has been increasing disasters other than rainfall. But currently, because of the floods, that is why we have dedicated our episode 11 to looking at how we can mitigate the flooding, especially now in relation to real estate. Because you find that when it floods in the properties, either you will lose your tenants or property will be destroyed if it's a personal property, and that way you end up going into losses. Floods has not only affected the city, which is Nairobi, but across the country, in the Rift Valley region, the central region. Roads as well as highways have also been rendered impassable. Dozens of people dead, properties destroyed. Today, Victor, I was reading an article about, I think, Ahero, Nyando, yes, in Nyanza. The river has broken its banks and it has gone kilometers. A lot of property is being destroyed by the floods. And now a question, could the effects of these floods on properties be mitigated? That is what we will find out from today's episode. So the answer is definitely yes. Waiting on the government to act may take quite a long time, because we know the government, it only acts when, let's say, a prominent person has been affected by something. When it's common people or common mwananchi, nothing much will be done. But now, what do investors have to do, especially in real estate, so as to evade the destruction that comes along by the floods, Victor?
There are many ways that investors can do to ensure that they are mitigating the effects of flood in homes, in apartments, and in buildings. Some of these ways are as follows: providing permeable paving surfaces on driveways and pathways. These are the pathways that ensure that the drainage system is in good condition. And Dominic, you'll agree with me, the places that the drainage system is poor makes the flooded water stagnant, and this hinders transport in a great way, right?
True.
And this could be avoided when the permeable surface has been provided either by the county government, the national government. It comes much home to people who are living in estates. Additionally, replacing the bottom two steps on your staircase with concrete. You'll agree with me, Dominic. Staircases are very slippery, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you replace them with concrete, the shoes that an individual wear or a homeowner's wear, they'll have grip while stepping, so that even after the rains, when the staircases are slippery, you'll avoid slipping. And slipping on a slippery staircase can be very damaging, can cause limbs to break or fatal injuries. Furthermore, creating an easy access store for flood barriers and blocks. An easy access during the flood, it means the rescue missions would be possible, also for evacuation purposes, especially when estates are flooded, also when medical supplies are being moved. When the access is easy, the rescue is precisely quickly, and it ensures that the flooded areas are not blocked and the movement is not hindered. Also, you should ensure that you fit stainless steel, plastic, or solid wood in kitchenware. Also install the freestanding kitchen units that can be moved. In homes, when there are floods and the floods maybe have accessed the kitchen area, when the sinks are high up and they can be moved, the kitchens will not clog with water and cause blockage. So it's important that the installation of the kitchen units is done in a way that it can be moved. Also, install a pump to remove water and fit non-return valves. You've seen in Dubai whereby we have these heavy lorries whereby they have pumps. In roads whereby there's flooding, the pumps pump the water out so that it creates a visible way of clearing the water. I don't mean the joke that we saw the other day in this county of Nairobi whereby people are trying to remove water with a tinga, like literally.
With a backhoe. And when people became rowdy about the same issue, the governor said, those who are doing it are not fools. They know what they are doing, so let people give them time.
I mean, that is like fetching water from a bucket that is littering with water and transferring the same water to another bucket that is littering with water. I mean, if they could have installed a pump to remove the water, it could have been easier and faster. But now trying to use a machine that is akin to a combined harvester in a farm, I mean, really ridiculous. Also ensure that only outlets are channeled to one way. Why do I say this, Dominic? An outlet that leads to a proper drainage system of your house, it will ensure that every water that has been collected can be reused for your garden, for your kitchen garden, or for your shamba, for any use. You know, even sometimes the rainwater, when treated, can be used for drinking, right?
Sure.
The outlet should be good enough for ensuring that the water can be reused, rather than just having the water spill off everywhere. And this would cause stagnation. Be a breeding ground for mosquitoes. And when mosquitoes have a perfect breeding ground, they cause malaria. And we know with malaria, it's another big sickness. Also, place your fridge and other goods on raised planes. When you have not raised your fridge to a higher level, it would mean that during flooding and the water levels have risen, it would be a ripe cause for electrocution. Also, installation of lightweight doors with raising hinges. Lightweight doors are very much important, Dominic, because it ensures that during the flooding, when you've raised the doors, you can be able to clear the water quickly, and it also ensures that the water levels will not rise to where you have your essential goods or even furniture and items of the house. To ensure that the lightweight doors with raising hinges are installed at your house.
Exactly.
Use ceramic tiles on the ground floor with waterproof adhesives rather than using rags. You know, the ceramic tiles are the ones that even when they are wet, you'll agree with me, Dominic, they're able to dry off faster. Rather than using rags, you know, rags can clog with the water very quickly and remain wet. And you know, in such instances as this, you'll bear me witness, it can be a ripe cause for disaster, especially when electrocution takes place. With water and electricity, they do not go hand in hand. On a light note, they cannot be on the same WhatsApp group, right?
True.
Also, every valuable and sentimental item that you have, including documents, TVs, mounted TV, safes, they should be placed at a safe distance. All these very valuable items should be placed on a different floor so that even during flooding, they won't be susceptible to being washed away by the water or being destroyed by the value. Because you can imagine your degree being washed away by water because you did not keep them safe. You did not keep them to a raised floor. What will you tell your prospective employer that my certificates were washed away by flood? He won't want to understand that. He'd say that you need to be careful with your very crucial documents.
You'll be called careless.
Exactly. That would be an embarrassment to the institution of higher learning that you went to. Also, electrical sockets should be raised approximately 1.5 meters above, because if they are not raised, it would affect the functionality. It can also cause even electrocution. The vehicles should also be moved to higher ground. I mean, this is possible when the parking have you seen those parkings which are elevated?
Yes.
Because when you just place your car on the ground level, flooding affects the functionality of the car. It can hinder the movement, especially if you want to move to a higher ground or a higher level, as the government has been advocating while telling the citizens to move to higher ground. But again, the question is, what is the higher level? What is the higher ground that the citizens should move? I believe it's just about moving to areas that have not flooded, are not really susceptible to flooding, and also ensuring that you adhere to all government directives. That is, moving away from flooding areas, from areas whereby you think that the weather will not be conducive. So better safe than sorry. Rather than waiting for the worst to happen, better take all these measures so that you avoid the flooding disasters.
And in addition to that, you find that as an investor, you have to understand the terrain of a place before you put up a property so that you avoid the losses that come along with the flooding. Understand the terrain of an area. If a property is located in a low-lying land or area, it is most prone to flooding resulting from heavy rainfall. It is important to understand whether a place floods or not And this can help, especially in preparation towards evading the losses that may result from flooding. Also, you should assess the quality of infrastructure in an area. Don't just put up a property in an area where you have not even assessed the drainage system. How is the drainage system? Can it channel out flooding water or excess rainwater, runoff water? How does runoff water flow? Are the infrastructure quality or up to date? Are they unclogged? Such is necessary, especially also proper design for resilience. When considering a property, prioritize those designs that are flood resilient. The examples that Victor you have just given us. For example, if an area is exposed to floods, don't always have a lot of valuables on the ground floor. Have these things on the upper floors or raised areas. Also, an insurance, and this we already talked about it in an earlier episode. Have an insurance cover. If an area is exposed to floods, have an insurance cover. And this will not only help when the floods occur, but it will also give you a peace of mind knowing that in case the worst happens, you will be reinstated.
Very important.
And you also find that, Victor, some people are, let's call it careless. They still go ahead to build their properties or houses or buy land that was once a passage for rainwater or a river in case there is floods. A river will definitely find its way back to where it used to go through. By that, it will mean that you'll incur losses.
Yeah, sure.
You also find that it is necessary, as I conclude, to have a proper solid waste management, because you find that when it rains and there is solid waste everywhere, there is a high possibility that the solid waste will clog drainage system. Definitely, it will bring about flooding.
I also agree with you in terms of making sure that these measures are adhered to.
Take all the necessary precautions as well as adhere to all guidelines that are issued, especially those that are intended to make sure that we are safe. I believe, Victor, we put a comma. See you, ladies and gentlemen, on our episode 12, where we will be looking at a very different topic, especially that is relating to the investments, a trend in the investments, but we won't preempt so that we continue learning. And that has been it. I have been your host, Dominic Mwangi, and please don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, as well as commenting and liking and following also on this podcast. Dominic Mwangi, once again, is my name, alongside
Victor Kiplagat.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.